Hello everyone, my name is Dragonheart, the Prince of Wales, and welcome back to my channel. This is a video that I have wanted to make for a very long time. Probably for the past, I'd say 12 to 18 months, maybe even a bit longer than that. I'm a massive Total War fan, as you know. I grew up watching Time Commanders. I grew up watching sort of Lionheart when I was in university, back when I didn't have a PC that was strong enough to play the games, and I would literally watch it on my old Acer Aspire laptop and hook the laptop up to my TV that was on the wall and watch multiple episodes of his campaigns. I'd binge watch like 4 or 5 in a row, sort of thing, of his playlists of Empire and Napoleon, and also some of his Shogun 2 stuff. And I'd watch other people's kind of Let's Plays and stuff. I'd first come across someone by the name of Volhound and Cosmic Contrarian. I'd watch their legendary campaigns of Shogun 2, and it was through these kind of people that inspired me to start my own channel. And, obviously the Lionheart nod is in the name Dragonheart to an extent. Obviously I'm Welsh and a big fan of dragons and this and that, and then the Prince part came in afterwards because that's like a Total War thing anyway, where you bring your name into it, King of, Prince of, Heir of, all that sort of stuff. So it ended up becoming an amalgamation of all these different things, and my name became Dragonheart, the Prince of Wales. And I started my YouTube channel, and I got into it and lots of videos, played some campaigns. I ended up doing lots of tutorials, and to this day the tutorial videos are some of the best that are on the channel. And the views wise, they still get views now, and they still help people out. They're basically beginner guides, so anyone who picks up Shogun 2 or Rome 2 or something like that, they haven't got a clue what they're doing. They type into Google, how do I play this game, or whatever. My videos usually are somewhere near the top, and they've done well. And through my time on YouTube, like I said, I started in 2013. A massive fan of the Total War series and the franchise, and the games are great. And like I mentioned earlier in the video, Time Commanders, growing up as a kid watching that, I had all the love and adoration of these games to heart. I used to get super excited watching the presenter introduce the show and seeing the old Rome Total War game engine on screen, and seeing some of those famous battles between sort of Rome and Carthage acted out by a bunch of complete idiots who were guests. So they'd bring people in off the street, and they'd be like, right, you're going to be lieutenant, you're going to be like the commander. It's hilarious to watch. It's quite cringy sometimes, but in a good way. It's one of those things where sometimes it's like a hot mess, I still got a kick going back and watch some of those episodes because they were fun. And yeah, Total War from Time Commanders, from watching people on YouTube and people streaming and stuff, and then me eventually pluck up the courage to start my own channel and start building my own audience over time and stuff. I'd say I had quite a bit of success. I've met many great people in the Total War community. I got married in 2019, and a lot of the people who I met through doing YouTube and stuff came to my wedding. People like Lord Rexasaur, for example, who's one of my closest friends now. Not just, I wouldn't just call him online friend; he's a friend. And people like Sondre, who's his channel was known as Stisra. Used to be quite active years ago, and the three of us started our own podcasts and stuff as well, mainly focused on Total War, called Tactical Difficulties. And we actually started this podcast before Lionheart, Alex Rambler, and Warrior of Sparta started their Warcast podcast. So our thing was actually existed before theirs. So they probably got the idea from us. I'm probably joking, I'm taking the mick a little bit. Podcasting is all over YouTube, and everyone does podcasting these days anyway. But we did it very early on. It was the Two Lizards, One Cup, which is just me and Rexasaur, and then Sondre joined, and we changed it to that name, to Tactical Difficulties. And by the way, I am lying on my set either here, just showing a little bit of leg, as you do. I can't be asked to go upstairs and just record. I'm happy just to hit the button on the phone and just talk off the cuff about Total War for 10-15 minutes or so, however long it takes, because I really want to make this video, like I said, for a while. And the point I'm getting at in this video is, and you can click off after I say this if you want to, I just don't love Total War anymore. It's got to that point where I just don't enjoy the franchise. I don't enjoy the games. I don't really like or respect the company that much. So if I rewind my thoughts for a moment, up until 2013, through to Well, we'll start with 2013. So Rome 2 came out. I was super hyped for it. The game bombed. It had a terrible release. It's a bit better now. I mean, any game that's had 16 patches is bound to show some sort of improvement, isn't it? And people say with mods and stuff, it helps a lot. But you shouldn't have to rely on mods. The pure gameplay should speak for itself. In any gaming franchise. So that happened. Then Attila came out not long after. I think it was early 2015, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say February. I want to say February. And I played that game. I actually started doing a legendary campaign with the Western Roman Empire on day one. I didn't have early access, nothing in these days. I just jumped straight in head first. Didn't do very well. I should have probably learned the game mechanics a bit more and whatever. But the campaign was fun as it was. It was quite funny watching me squirm every episode because the AI was bullshit. That's what happens with Total War games with legendary difficulty. It gets more challenging because the AI just gets a shitload of unfair buffs and stuff and really punishes you. On the campaign at least anyway, because it's just like, whoa, what's going on? I mean, it is what it is. And then from that, Warhammer came out, and Warhammer was a interesting game. In 2016, I think that came out. I love fantasy. I love The Witcher. I love Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings. You name it, I love it. I never really knew anything to do with Warhammer before. I've never really experienced that franchise. I never played the tabletop. I didn't know much about it. I watched some of Rexasaur's lore videos and stuff to try and get a bit of an idea. I jumped in with open mind, and it was decent. It was decent enough. I enjoyed playing some campaigns with the dwarves and the vampire counts. But like I say, I lean into fantasy. I enjoy fantasy. That's why I sort of got into it. Warhammer 2 comes out a few years later. I think it was 2017, so like a year. It's like a year later then. Maybe a year later. Not sure. Maybe I've skipped a year. I can't remember. My memory's a bit foggy. But Warhammer came out. Warhammer 2 came out, and that was good. I don't have very good memories of Warhammer 2 though, because my PC was literally like dying at this point. I had to do some big upgrading, so I kind of didn't play much of it on release and stuff. And then into sort of 2018/19 time, that's when I started noticing a bit of a difference with things. So I guess you could say from a creator's point of view, things sort of picked up for me because I started getting early access. I'm like, whoa, how did that happen? Long story short, I used to do a lot of streaming on YouTube to varying successes, and I used to use a website called Keymailer, where you can basically put all your details in, all your credentials and stuff, your social medias, your Steam account, that sort of thing, and you put requests into developers by saying request key, and just hit a button, and then you might not get a response. A lot of indie developers are more than willing, and you'll get a load of keys from them. And sometimes, mainstream developers and stuff will also give you keys and stuff. And what happened was I put the request in for Thrones of Britannia, which it was. Uh, I just thought, oh, it's on there. I'll put a request in, and then literally like a day or maybe 2 days before the game was due to release globally, the key comes through. And it's like, you've got early access, and these are all like the terms and the conditions, and what you can and can't say, and what you can and can't show, and blah, 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 blah. I was like super hyped. I was super hyped because I felt like all the years of making YouTube content and stuff that was mainly focused on Total War had come to fruition, and it had helped me out in some way, and this and that and the other. And it was almost like a reward, in a warped kind of way. It was almost like it was a reward. But I immediately saw right through it because I started uploading some videos for Thrones of Britannia. I basically pre-recorded like 8 episodes of a campaign. I think it was the Kingdom of Gwynedd, the Gwynedd campaign, or Gwynedd as it is somehow recognised in game, which looks weird. I just call it Gwynedd because I'm Welsh and that's what it's called, Kingdom of Gwynedd. There we are. So I uploaded like 8 of them. I had like I said, pre-access, so I had like a day or two. So I was able to get like 1 or 2 videos out before release date, and then the rest went up, and I had decent-ish views. For me, decent-ish views. I said, a few hundred views for me is really good. For somebody else, that's a failure and a half. Do you know what I mean? But for somebody who doesn't really get much audience, thing, especially these days. A few hundred views on that was pretty good. So after that game, I literally did the 8 videos. And I thought, you know what, this game is shit. This game is awful. It's lifeless. It's bare bones. The music in the game is a bit crap. I don't feel like there's much effort into this at all. And this is like the first, I think it was the first Saga game, so I just knocked it on the head. A year later, coincided with me moving into our house. So 2019, moved into our house. And I didn't get early access to Three Kingdoms. I did request it and stuff. I didn't get it. Whatever. I ended up buying the game anyway when it came out. It was alright. It was pretty good. The combat was much better than some of the games. I think the combat was better than Warhammer. I think the combat was better than anything's better than Throws Britannia, and it's probably the best combat in a Total War game. Maybe since Shogun 2. I'm not saying that because it's the sort of the link between sort of, a game set in Asia and stuff in the East and everything. I just felt like the combat was quite solid, but I just didn't really find myself interested in the game itself. And then I think because they had the romance mode and the records mode, I don't think they really knew what they were doing with Three Kingdoms, whether it was going to be this game or that game, or they tried Warhammer in the game, because I think for this point it was like Warhammer works, let's just apply that kind of philosophy to this. I know, like, you've got Dynasty Warriors and the characters in this time period, the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, they are larger than life, and I kind of get that, but at the same time, I don't know, it could have been better. And then of course you look, if you fast forward again a year or so, and I just dropped my phone. You fast forward a year or two, and they promised this northern expansion DLC thing, and then they basically uploaded this video, knocked on the head. It's like, nope, we're going to do Three Kingdoms 2 instead. And then I just pissed everyone off. And it's like, what the hell are you doing? What direction is this company going in? And then you sort of look at the whole bigger picture of Total War now. If I go back briefly to sort of YouTube inside of your Total War, when Attila came out, I think 8 YouTubers had early access to the game at the start. That was the first time. I say the first time. I think Prince of Macedon had access to Empire or something, or was sent something years ago. I think Rome 2 was the first time they started noticing things they could do on YouTube, and I think Prince of Macedon, along with Lionheart, maybe somebody else, got flown to Italy to record a bunch of vlogs and stuff. I remember that back in 2013. But you fast forward now, they got a dedicated Total War Discord server for YouTubers and content creators and streamers, and it's a bit shit, to be honest. I've been in the Discord. I've had a couple of chats with a couple of people in there, a year ago or so, because it's called a creators program thing, and you've got to fill in a form, and then it gets approved by someone, and you're on this Discord, and it's a place where you can leave feedback and stuff, but I just don't feel like the people in the Discord listen, to be honest with you. And I think that's part of the problem and why Total War's gone a bit sour for me. People don't really listen to the feedback. There's a lot of people in there are very knowledgeable. Unfortunately, there's a lot of cocksuckers in there as well. There's a lot of these up-and-coming kind of channels with 100 subscribers or whatever. They've just started out, and somehow they're in the creator program. And that's kind of one of the points I want to make in this video. It doesn't really feel like a big deal to have early access. I mean, in the end, I had early access. I was doing fuck all with it because I just couldn't be asked. And that says more about the company, I think. You've got people who are loyal fans like myself who have grown up loving and appreciating these games. I don't have the urge to play them anymore. And maybe that's partly down to my own life and my own where I am in life at the moment with myself and other responsibilities and things like that. But at the same time, I haven't got the itch to play it. I have the itch to play other games. I've been playing a hell of a lot of Apex Legends, which is a competitive first-person shooter game. A lot of skill-based teamwork, things like that. All important. Yes, it's not the perfect game in the world. It's far from it by any means, but I enjoy it. I get a kick out of playing it. There's other games I'm looking forward to playing, like Ghost of Tsushima. I really want to play that. I haven't got it yet. I'm going to get it at some point. I'm going to play it. I might even stream it on Twitch. Who knows? And this is the thing. There's more to life than Total War. There's more to gaming than Total War. And I recognize that. I've recognized that for a long time. But I wanted to do this and I wanted to make a video and put in a video so that I can just signpost people who may have subscribed to this channel years ago or even recently, who've watched maybe a couple of my tutorials or video stuff and think, oh, Dragon, when's the next, campaign? When's the next tutorial? Can you do a second tutorial on this? And the answer is no, because I don't really care about Total War anymore. I don't care about the franchise. I don't really care about Creative Assembly. I think Creative Assembly have gone downhill massively in the last few years. They were a bit shady back in 2013 when Rome 2 came out, and they were publicly saying that we have a 30% bigger budget, and then showing us gameplay which just was super doctored and didn't look nothing like the finished product. The Siege of Carthage trailer is what I'm referring to, in case you're wondering. So and I mentioned Prince of Maston in the video. Him, along with other YouTubers like Pixelated Apollo, was another one. These are big YouTubers. Pixelated Apollo was one of the biggest Total War channels at one stage. He's not one of the OG ones. I think he came a few years later, maybe around 2015 or 16, something like that. But he had like the biggest channel in Total War at one stage. He made a video saying that Total War's gone a bit shit, and he's not enjoying it, and he doesn't agree with Creative Assembly's practices and stuff. Prince of Macedon came out recently and said that he was blocked 5 years ago from Creative Assembly. They basically stopped him from having access to games and stuff, early access, and their partnership had ended or something. I mean, I'm paraphrasing. Go and watch his video because he talks about it if you are interested in that sort of thing. You've got Volhound, who some people might like him, some people might hate him. I've watched him for quite a number of years. I used to watch him on YouTube streaming PUBG with all his friends years ago. I used to love it. I used to think he was a laugh, and I respect the videos he makes because he makes videos and calls the company out for it. Basically, like, holds them to account. He uses a lot of sort of integrity, and he shows what's sort of going wrong with the games. He did one on the Testudo formation, and he showed Rome Total War compared to Rome 2 and Attila, and he compared like all the things. And the older game from like 2004, the game which I fell in love in, still has like better animations and better sound effects, and it works as intended better than the newer games from like 10 years later or something. So it's just one example. That's kind of things it does. And the other good videos he makes is like the single entity unit thing with Warhammer and Three Kingdoms obviously playing prominence. So going back on track to my story a little bit. So yeah, Three Kingdoms I bought, and I said the combat was good and everything, but I just wasn't as interested in that. And then I got a bunch of DLC for Warhammer 2 that I was given, which was cool. But I just didn't care by this point, and I just didn't ever play it or anything or produce anything on it or whatever. And then Troy was the last thing I was given by Creative Assembly. They gave me early access to Troy. It's from Epic Games. I do have an Epic Games account anyway, only because of Rocket League, because I play Rocket League and I had it on there because it was free, I think. And then yeah, I downloaded Troy. I installed it. And then I was on the menu, and I sat there for like 3 minutes, 4 minutes, just looking at the menu thinking, I can't be arsed for this shit. And then my wife called me and said she wanted me for something, and I just turned the game off, and I didn't go back to it. I've got like 3 or 4 minutes on the game, on the menu, and that's it. Just didn't play it. I saw enough videos online to think, nah, not for me. It's not the game I want to play. It's not my Total War, And that was it. So then I installed that straight away. And recently, so this is where it comes full circle. I got kicked out of the partner program. Basically, I wasn't active on the Discord at all. I wasn't active on the Discord. Like I said earlier, a lot of yes men, a lot of people who weren't listening to sort of reasonable feedback and stuff. I felt I just didn't really enjoy it. So I obviously didn't make any videos. I didn't do anything basically. I've just been streaming on Twitch for the last couple of last year or so, and I haven't done anything with Total War related at all. So then I got an email basically saying, you're out of the partner program. We don't feel like your content fits Total War anymore. Blah 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 blah. It's quite civil. It's quite nice and everything. I haven't got a problem with the email at all. It's fine. this is fine as it can be. The only thing I do have a problem with is that it does feel like, I say kicked out. I was gently released, if you want to put a spin on it. But the one thing I didn't like was I'm not in the Discord anymore, and they could have messaged me beforehand just to say, hey, just want to give you forewarning. Emails are going out. What do you think? Blah 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 blah. You will no longer be in the Discord. But instead, I go on Discord one evening. I'm having a look, scrolling through my servers, and the server's not there anymore. And that then, when you look at that as a person, you look at that and you think, I feel like I'm being banned. It does feel like you're being banned. So it's like, oh, thanks for that. Thanks for that, guys. I appreciate that. You're a fantastic games company. Thank you. Uh, so yeah, that's kind of where I feel. I could go on. I could literally do this for an hour or so, just talking about Total War and what I feel like, where I feel like it's gone right, where it's gone wrong, what I would improve. I mean, there's loads of stuff. You could make multiple videos. You could have a whole playlist on it. It just goes on and on and on. But I'm done with Total War. I can't see me playing any Total War really, apart from maybe Shogun 2 definitely. Shogun 2 definitely, and anything sort of like Medieval 2 was really good. Uh I didn't even talk about Rome Remastered, and that was another thing as well. Rome Remastered. Oh, I could go into another video on that, but I'm not going to bother because I just don't like that game either. I don't think it was that good. Yeah, I think I'm done with making YouTube videos on Total War. I just wanted to make this video just to kind of say to people, hey, I'm not making Total War content anymore. Like I said, Ghost of Tsushima, Apex Legends, and lots of other games that are out there that I'm going to play and stream and do stuff with. So, yeah, we'll go from there as I show you a bit of leg as we end the video here. So I've been Dragonheart. Thank you for watching. Until next time, goodbye.